Hey guys, Tim Walling here, SC Legal Carry. We train people to get a CWP in the state of South Carolina. If you need a concealed weapons permit, please look us up online at sclegalcarry.com. So I gave $100 for the gun. I'm just going to have a little fun with it. I'm either going to tear it up and destroy it or make it a little bit better. The magazine has to be in it for it to fire. But look, you can't get these magazines out. You gotta really pull them right there. It gets stuck. So I can cock the hammer back. It won't fire, will not fire. Push the magazine in just a little bit and it'll fire. So there is some kind of safety in this gun right about in here that this thing's pushing on, probably digging into it here, that is allowing this firearm to fire. All right, take this gun down. This little pin right here, you just pull it out. See how that comes out? The little pin right here, you just pull it and it pops off from here. And then you can just basically pull this out. Really not under any pressure or anything. Pull it right out of the gun, slides right apart. Look how simple the internals are. That is the trigger mechanism right here on the gun. I do find it a little odd. Every part in here does have an inscribed serial number on it, 4-digit number on each piece. I guess that's how they made them match. But really simple design there for the hammer, the mechanism for the trigger. And the slide, this is kind of weird here. Your guide rod, I've never seen one of these before. Your guide rod has a bend in it right there. And then the barrel, now the barrel, to get the barrel out, you've got to rotate this all the way up. This piece comes out, and then you fold this down, and come on, slides right out here. The barrel was in really bad shape, and I've already polished it. I used Mother's and my Dremel and polished it up, trying to make it look a little bit nicer. There's a whole lot of drag on it when you pull the slide back on it, but polishing it did not get rid of that on it. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to put this compensator on it here. The compensator is for the T33 model. It says it will not fit this one. It was too small. Well, I've already opened it up to where to go on here, but I hadn't opened it up enough. So I got to spend a little more time working on it. All the pressure is inside the barrel when it fires. This thing is just riding down the slide and back up when it fires. So don't try this at home, but I feel like it's going to hold. Look how thin the metal is on this, the original piece. This is actually thicker than the original. So I'm going to work on that a little bit. We're going to degrease this thing. We're going to sand this thing down. We're going to get the grips out of it here. It did come with 2 magazines, and these are 9-round magazines, I believe, that's in this. I think it was originally, the gun was made with 8, and when they redid it, they got 9 rounds in it. So let's see if we can get these grips off of here. All right, there's some kind of little mechanism in here. Put some glasses on so we can see. Well, I turned it. Oh, there we go. They come flying out. Okay. So it's got a little top here on it. So I just reached in, hooked it, and pulled it over to the side. Cheap plastic, really. Hate to say it, but well, this will be a lot easier. We can access it. It's going to rotate, and I guess it's coming this way. There we go. And this side pops out. Now we're left with this. So, what is the issue with these magazines? There it is. Right there. Okay. So this is, it's going to be my trigger bar. Well, tell you what, let's push that up a little bit. There we go. So this is our trigger bar. So it's got like a bow style trigger in it. Yeah, it's on both sides. But this piece right here is where it's dragging. So it's pushing down on this bar here. Let's see if we can get rid of that. There we go. Pretty clean break in there. I would love to see your hair before you go.
Lulu likes it.
Oh, wow. I love it.
Do you really? I like it too.
Sorry for the interruption. My daughter came home with a new haircut and it looks great on her. We have removed this little piece here. And, oh, come on. It should slide in there easy now. Let's see. I got to put it back together. Let's see how we're working here. Slide works now. And let's see. No magazine in the gun. Let's see if the trigger will pull. And safe on. No, the trigger will not pull. Oh, I didn't have the trigger bar in proper. Now the trigger will pull without a magazine in the gun. Okay, first part done. Let's take it back apart. After we clean it, let's go outside, and I got some different colored paint out there. We're gonna sand this down and get the finish off of it, and we're gonna head outside and we're gonna paint these pieces on the gun. We're gonna camouflage it. We're gonna leave this black. I'm gonna try to tape the trigger up, tape up the mag release and the safety on the gun. I want to still have some black on the firearm just for the look of it, but we're going to try to camo the rest of it. We just got to rough it up, spray it. We'll put a little clear coat on it, let it dry, and maybe our sights will be in, so we get our sights on it and our grip will be here, and I'll get back to work on this guy. So we're going to take a little sanding pad and we are going to take the finish off this gun. We want to just scuff it up because we want paint to adhere to it. So let's work on this piece a little bit. Looks like we got that scuffed up good now. This piece scuffed up good. So let's clean it up good. We're going to do a little taping on this stuff. We used 3 coats of paint on it. So this brake cleaner is what I used to clean it with after I sanded it. I used this to make sure I degreased it good. I used this paint. Then I used primer, fast dry primer, brown. Just here and there spraying on it. And then I came back with some of this green. So I did a coat of black, a coat of tan, a coat of green. Another coat of black, tan, green, and touched up with a little bit of black. After it dried overnight, the next thing I did is I sprayed this on it, some clear gloss. It came with a little piece in the top, the little red thing in the top here. You pop it out and you stick it in the bottom of the can. You'll seat it. Adds the hardener to it. I put 3 coats, 3 very, very light coats of this on it. Let it dry overnight. And then I went back with 1000 grit wet sandpaper, sanded off. Had a little bit of an orange peel look to it, a little too shiny and bright for me. So I went back and took that off of it. Here is the slide for it. And we just tried to camo it. I am in no way a professional, okay? Playing, seeing how this stuff turns out. Now, we popped the grips off of this thing. I'm not going to reuse these grips. I ordered this grip off eBay. It's a combat grip for the gun, so we're going to put that on. Now, remember this piece is your barrel nut? Goes on the end of your slide right here. When this is on the gun, right, it's on the gun, barrel goes right through here and it slides. The slide goes backwards, the barrel stays in place. So I wanted to add this compensator to it. Now, this compensator is made for the T33, which means it was too small right in here. I took it to a machine shop and I had them take about 1 millimeter out of it, and it wasn't quite enough. So I sat down, I put it in the vise, and so this is what I used. This goes in your Dremel, and it's a sanding block, but I put it in my drill and I just sat with it and went in here and opened it up just enough so that it would work. And you can see I went through 2 of these. I completely ground these off doing this. I wish he'd have cut more out of it for me, but he didn't. But now I can drop the barrel in there. So this will not fit this gun, this M70A. This will not fit it unless you drill that out. Next issue you have is your guide rod. On the end of your guide rod is this little tiny piece right here, but it holds your spring in. So if we were to pull that spring all the way through, this piece was mounted right here to hold your spring in. There's a little pin right there. I pushed that pin out, pulled the end off of it, and took this off of it. So now I just got a spring, right? Every 1911 has a spring and a guide rod like this. I don't think I'm going to have an issue with it. But with this end on this guide rod right here, this end would not go in that compensator, would not go through it. So I just took it off, and now, as you can see, it'll fit right through there. Fits through there really well. So I shouldn't have any problem with it. Works the same way as a 1911, as like a guide rod with a spring, and this is going to hold it in. Now after I did that, this fits in the firearm. So, of course it goes on like this, but you have to turn it straight up and insert it and then rotate it down. Fits right on the end of the gun here. And look at this. This thing, when I took this trigger out, there were so many lines cut in it. It was horrible, the machine work on it. I'm sure that was causing it to grip and drag, and the magazines were a little tight. So I took it apart and I went inside here and I used a stone and I got rid of all the machine marks, or 90% of the machine marks. If you think this looks bad, you should have seen it before. Then I used mothers and buffed it back out. Maybe we're going to reduce the trigger pull, I don't know, but hopefully the mags will slide in nice and neat now. Also, I went inside the frame of the gun right in here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I sanded with a stone here, where the trigger bow comes through, right on the back side of it there, and on the back side of it over here, so that it would slide in there a little bit easier. So we need to put our trigger back in. You got this odd little piece. This is a very, very simple gun. You got this odd little piece right here, and it goes in like this. So we'll let you see the orientation of it as I go to, well, I think I'm taking the light off of it. I'll let you see the orientation of it as I put it in. So it goes right in the back here. Drop it in there. See how it sticks out? So that actually pushes your trigger back forward. Just this little piece of metal here under tension. So now we need to put our trigger back in. Trigger must go with the curved piece at the bottom. And we got our little opening here, a little cut opening here. Remember, that went right through here. All right, so we'll take our trigger, slide it in. It goes right in. And then we're just going to keep working it till it drops right there. You heard it kind of click in place. So a little piece of metal is right behind it, hold it into place now. We're going to put a little bit of oil on that thing. We have our trigger back in the gun. And will our magazines slide in a little easier now? When our magazines go in and slide up, yeah, they still got some drag to them. Oh, they drop out though. That's what we want to see. I don't want to mess up that bow in that trigger. So if they're in and we hit the button, yes, magazines drop right out of the gun now. Nice, that is what we're looking for. A little bit of oil on this. Won't hurt the paint at all. Bring out a little bit of shine in it. And this piece is already oiled. We didn't really do anything to this, your trigger group here. We'll drop it right back in. Next thing we want to do is let's put our slide back together. And you can see how just a little bit of oil on it brings out the paint, makes it nice and shiny there. We put the rear sights back on the gun. Just a tiny bit of filing, they went right in. Alright, so now tilt down here, slide the barrel into position, and next thing we want to do is let's install this guy. Remember, it goes in, so it's going to be on the gun like this. So we turn it here, insert it, and then rotate it into position. There we go. We got her in position. Now we need to put our guide rod and our spring back in the gun. Alright, you put your guide rod back in, you see the, let's turn it this way, see the curved half moon shape here in the flat? The half moon shape sits on top of your barrel. So we're going to flip this guy up out of the way. We're going to put it in with the half moon shape down. Slide that in. Now it's in, barrel seated in. We got a little lever here sticking up. And we are ready to insert this back in the gun. So let's see if the grip will go on here. Get the grip all the way on. Safety works. Trigger works. The trigger hammer comes back. No magazine in the gun. Pull the trigger. The trigger actually works. And the slide operates. Pulls back. And here we go. So remember, folks, be a responsible adult. Don't push your responsibility as an adult off onto a child. Buy gun locks and gun safes. Till next time, folks, take care.